good. But the thing is a lot of people do exactly what was just done to me. They assume they know it. They think the show is this real ass place and all these things are just really how horrible of a person I am and all that kind of shit. My video that I posted the other day was, I got timestamps and proof of where I was for 4 weeks straight, all weeks of May and weekends. First weekend of June was in Bakersfield at my little brother's graduation. Got all kinds of proof, so I'm not really worried. There's no reason to respond to people who are dumb. Deal with your lawsuit before you talk to me. That's how it should be. So, but I'm gonna go enjoy a shower with my woman, Egypt, Chris, you know? Yes, I really do have hands. Very mean ones. That's why I try to keep them to myself. Blocking anybody who I feel like blocking. Yeah, a lot of things come with fame, you know? That's why I'm not worried about it. I'm more so looking at the situation saying, what if, you know? What if that I was not mentally sound enough to stand my ground, and what if I took a gun and blew my head off because of this, and then right after that, the facts come out, that trans person comes back, and it's so broke up in their mind because they realize that they set somebody up and lied on them, and that person killed himself. Then, that's the what if, what would happen? You know what I'm saying? Those are the true natures of this world and what comes with it. So I think people need to be very careful with who they attack and what facts they think they have or don't have, because there are people out there who will lie to try to get themselves ahead. There are people out there that will deceive in order to make it look like that's what it is. Now, I've showed the proof. They messed up by saying the dates. I showed the proof. It's all right. Egypt's not bothered. She knows everything. You shouldn't go after people's life if you really don't know them. There's a lot of people who would like to be able to say that they've been with me, but I'll tell you one thing. I don't go places because I get in trouble when I go places. So I'm home most of the time. Second thing, our house, where we live at, has cameras everywhere. If I really believed that I needed to prove a point, I could just pull up the cameras and show I wasn't gone any of those days. I could show the times that I went into my room and never left my room. And when I came down finally a day later, or whatever it was, you know, those type of things, those are if I really had to prove a point. And I don't feel I have to prove that kind of point. Feel me? There's no reason to have to prove that kind of point. Like I said, there's cameras everywhere. Everywhere. I can prove when I walked in the door. Boop. I can prove where I was 24/7. Boom.
Waiters always look at me and think that I'm gonna have a little.
Okay, you guys gonna have to find the whole thing to finish it, because I just I told y'all, if you guys haven't watched my previous video, go watch the previous video. I made it very clear, and I said that if I did something wrong, and if I was the one that cheated or did something stupid in my relationship, and my husband came and asked me, hey baby, did you do this? I'd be like, go on somewhere with this bullshit. I don't want to hear it. I wouldn't even acknowledge it, because what am I acknowledging? What am I talking about? Something that didn't occur? Something, I can't respond to something like this, just so ignorant. The fact that, and I said that if I did something wrong, I'll feel the need to explain myself, and I'll feel the need to explain myself in detail. Even if I didn't sleep with the person, there may be something I did to have put myself in that position in the first place. So I would feel compelled to say something or to prove myself, to show timestamps, whatever. This man is sitting up here telling us that Egypt's ass is unbothered, but he's still trying to find ways to prove to the public that he didn't do this and da-da-da-da. I don't know what his motive is, but that whole what if this person did this and what if, you're being dramatic and you're going above and beyond. The fact is, if you didn't do it, you didn't do it. But if you did, all this excess shit that you're doing is not helping your situation. It's not. But I'm going to get back to this because I still want to talk about the second interview that Tasha K did with Egypt's, I guess, childhood best friend that she grew up with. There was an interview on her page, and there was more tea about this situation and the relationship between Egypt and Sam that this girl talked about. I don't know if she's still friends with Egypt. It didn't seem that way to me. It seems like the recollection of her, what they were asking her, was based on what her perception was in the years that she was friends with Egypt. I could be wrong, but I'm not getting the impression that they're cool or they're close or she's still in their life. And I damn sure feel like even if she was in their life after this interview she did with Tasha K, she ain't gonna be in their life. And number two, I felt like for her to do this interview in the first place, I don't think she's in her life. It just doesn't seem like somebody that's still friends with Egypt after this whole situation happened will go and now do an interview with the girl who spilled the tea, Tasha. So I just don't think that they're friends. I think she's somebody from their past. That's the perception I'm getting. I think that that's what it was elaborated, that she's friends with her. She's been friends with Egypt since childhood. This is how much she knows of Egypt. Then there's another person that was interviewed. I'm going to talk about that later on in the video. But first, I have a few things I want to discuss. And I'm going to start off with Dr. Dre and his daughter, right? So Dr. Dre's daughter, and an article, I'm going to read that first before I end up doing my commentary. It says Dr. Dre's estranged daughter says she's homeless despite dad's $800 million fortune. And the daughter's name is LaTanya Young. This was the latest of the unfortunate news for the good doctor. It said that, and according to the article, it said that the hits keep coming for Dr. Dre, but none of them are music to his ears recently. The legendary hip-hop producer's estranged daughter, LaTanya Young, has revealed some shocking details behind her strained relationship with the rap mogul. Young says she asked her father and his legal team numerous times for financial support, but the cries have fallen on deaf ears. I'm homeless and I've been reaching out to my dad for help. His lawyer has said that my dad doesn't want to help me because I've spoken about him in the press. Young told the Daily Mail in a report published Wednesday, I feel like I'm damned if I do, I'm damned if I don't. I'm just trying to communicate with him and see if he wants to talk to his grandkids. My kids are old enough to know who he is. They are in shock that he doesn't want anything to do with them. Then there's a photo on Instabiscuit or Instagram, and it says, and under the caption, Dr. Dre's 38-year-old daughter claims that she's homeless and living out of her rented vehicle. The mom, hang on, my page just kind of closed. Open up. Oh, hell, okay. It says, the mom of four claims she has asked her dad, whose net worth is the reported $800 million, for help, but he stopped helping her 18 months ago. 18 months ago would have put her maybe at 36, just over 36 years old. Right now she's 38. I just heard that he has to pay $300K a month for spousal support, LaTanya said. It's embarrassing because people are looking at me wondering why. What Nicole has got is what my mom should have got, LaTanya said. And that's not all she said. And then it says, to make ends meet, the single mom Young has been working at a warehouse where she's only paid $15 an hour as an assembler. She also picked up a few gigs with DoorDash and Uber Eats, but the costs associated with maintaining her vehicle are hefty. The car is a pretty penny. It's an SUV that costs $2,300 for 3 weeks, and I only pay for 1 week. Why are you driving an SUV that costs that much in the first place? Your ass can't afford that shit. Then it says, sooner or later, they're going to take the car. Take the bus. The report about Young is especially a big deal because of Dre's renowned riches, which increased exponentially after he famously sold his Beats headphones to Apple for $3 billion. That resulted in Dre calling himself in 2014 the first billionaire in hip hop, according to the Los Angeles Times. Now, it said in reality, Dre pocketed about $400 million from that deal. And it says Young previously shared with Celebrity Gossip that last year that she had spoken to her father. She hadn't spoken to her father in almost 17 years until he unexpectedly suffered a brain aneurysm in January. But it was like pulling teeth just to know if he was all right in the hospital. She said Young did admit that her father has helped her out in the past to pay rent, and at one point even provided a small allowance, but that swiftly came to an end in January of last year. Fans are now slamming the rapper online for failing to support his daughter. Dr. Dre's daughter is 38 years old with 4 kids living out of her car. You can argue that she's grown and blame her for her own misfortune, but there's no way I'm a billionaire and my child is homeless or starving. I don't care how old they are. While another person said, what bothers me about the conversation surrounding Dr. Dre's daughter is that people are saying she's 38, she's too old for this, just get a job, as if people of any age can't fall on hard times, especially during a pandemic. Did y'all forget all of last year? One slip, one job loss, one debt, and you can fall into poverty fast. Also, your parents helping you doesn't mean that they're enabling you. It means they're assisting you as they should. They're your parents, for goodness sake. Dr. Dre has not released a statement in response to the allegation. The reports about his daughter were just the latest, not so good news for the good doctor. Back in July, the 56-year-old star was ordered to pay his estranged wife $300,000 a month in spousal support, as mentioned. Now, here's my response to this shit. First of all, I understand that people can fall on hard times. I fell on hard times when I had no kids. I was making $8 an hour in college, full-time student, messing up in my classes. I was too damn tired, working 2 jobs and taking care of a grown-ass friend who was 4 or 5 years older than me that was diagnosed with tuberculosis, and the CDC told her that she couldn't work and her family wasn't helping her back home because she's from Cameroon. So I was sitting there, in addition to risking my life, I had to take TB tests all the time, but also trying to support myself, a broke college student. Sometimes I can even eat. And I was not running to daddy, good old daddy, who has already supported me and taken care of me up till my 18 years, which he's responsible for. I chose to do whatever was necessary to survive. I did not go and have 4 children. Now, this is what I'm talking about. She's 38 years old, and I understand that she has children. My question that I have in this situation is, why aren't you going after the baby fathers of the kids that you have? Why aren't they providing support for the children? Why are you going after Dr. Dre? Because you're his daughter. Why not seek the man you laid with, gave you these babies, and ask them for money? Why the hell are you on the news, running your mouth to Celebrity Gossip, talking about Dr. Dre and giving you shit with your 4 kids being homeless? Why the hell you go to those daddies that's supposed to be helping you with those kids, get them to pay for it so your ass ain't homeless? And if you can't do it, let them have custody of the kids until you get your life together. Number two, I used to work for the county doing food stamps cachet and giving people vouchers to go and stay in hotels, and people who need to get on Section 8 property. Those of you who have children and are homeless, the county will literally expedite the process to get you into some kind of housing to keep yourself together. And they will pay. You will be paying $100 a month. The government will be paying the $2,000 some odd dollars it takes for that house so you can afford it and keep your kids. And they will give you $200 worth of food stamps for each kid for you to feed those kids, enough for you to get yourself together. Number 3, a point in that article said that Dr. Dre had been helping her up until 18 months ago, and that she gave her a specific allowance to be able to help her out while she was working. During those years that you were getting those allowances, did you not save any of them? Why didn't you go to school? Why didn't you learn a trade? Why didn't you get yourself in a career field, maybe in the healthcare? Because we know that during this pandemic, people are still dying, people are still sick, people are still hurt. Nobody stopped. Accidents haven't slowed down. Illnesses like cancer, God forbid, somebody gets it, but it hasn't slowed down. All these other illnesses out there hasn't slowed down. If your ass was a nurse, you would still have a job. I'm not saying that I don't empathize with her plight, because I don't know what could happen. I don't know what could happen to me tomorrow. I don't know if I could end up homeless, but I do know one thing is I have built healthy relationships with the people in my life. And I know that if anything happens to me, they will be willing to help me, but not in a way that makes them feel like they're obligated to do it because they might have the funds, just because they know the type of person I've been to them, and they're more than willing to help me in return. What this girl is doing, going to the blogs and telling her family business, making her father look like he's some deadbeat, when even though he wasn't supposed to be supporting your ass, because your ass is beyond the age of 18. You stated yourself that he was giving you an allowance just because he has the money. He worked for that money. That's his money he earned. He's not obligated to give it to you just because he has it. He has a choice to give it to you, but you have to humble yourself when he does. This is why I have the stance I have with this situation, because I know some people might say, well, he's her dad. You know, if it was me, I just can't be cool with my grandkids being homeless. Listen to me very carefully, and I'm talking from personal experience. I've said in my previous reviews that my husband has kids, right? And he has kids. He's 2 kids by one of his baby mama. And there was a time when her father, meaning the grandfather to my husband's kids, kicked her out along with the kids. And she made my husband feel so guilty when he was busting his ass to do whatever he could. Made him feel guilty that her ass got kicked out, to where his education was suffering because he was trying to help her ass out. Listen to me very carefully. I had to make sure and talk to him. I had to be very clear. There is a reason when a grandfather refuses to help his grandkids and the kid that he made. There is a lesson that needs to be learned. The truth of the matter is, I tell my husband that girl had been in his house longer than she was supposed to. He took care of her till she was 18 years old. He gave her life skills. She was supposed to go get a GED. She did not. She was supposed to go get a job. She did not. She was supposed to get her life together. And while he was literally providing the roof over the head of his grandchildren, when he's supposed to be enjoying his life, people don't have kids and want to take care of kids forever. They have kids and they want you to grow up and get out of that life so they can now get their freak on because they did their part. They don't want to sit there and be parents again to the day they die. So I said, for that man to kick her out and to stop aiding her, there was something that she did. And it wasn't done one time. It wasn't done 2 times. It wasn't done 3 times. He had to have given her several warnings, said, if you continue to do this, this will be the repercussions. And when she didn't listen, he kicked her ass out. And you know what she did? She came to my husband and started trying to make him feel like he was shitty because of her bad decisions. And to add on to that, she now started dogging her own father out to him, even though her kids have been comfortable in her father's house for a number of years. So considering situations like that, and the fact that Dr. Dre was helping this woman at some point, for him to have stopped helping her, there was the reason behind it. That means he was helping you before. And in those times that he was helping you, what did you do to get to this point? And why are you sitting up here? Because I'm reading the article. She says she has an SUV that costs $2,300 in 3 months or 3 months, and she can only afford one. Her SUV is about to be repo. Girl, get a cheaper car. Get a nice little bucket. Okay, let your kids squeeze in that bucket and do what you have to do. And the fact that you are in a rental means that you had money to go and rent a car. You ain't that broke. I have seen people come into the county office. They have drained their entire savings, and this individual is out there still looking for jobs, and they're sitting in front of me crying, humbling themselves, saying, you know, I have nothing left. I just need help. And they're embarrassed. And I have to sit there and say, you know what? This is what this situation is here for. It's for people like you who have busted their ass and are not looking for handouts. I am here to help you. I will give you whatever the hell I can give you. If it's medical, I'll give it to you. If it's food stamp shit, I'll give it to you. If it's cash shit, I'll pass that motherfucker. If I get you into Section 8 property, so be it. But this boo-hooing crime that she's doing and going to the blogs, I feel like she's doing it because of who her father is. What would happen if she didn't have a father by Dr. Dre who didn't have that kind of money? What would be her second option? Why don't you go and take that option and live your life like he doesn't exist? Like he's not there to be a bank for you. Because I feel like she feels entitled to that money, and that's a problem. That is a problem. You're not entitled to the money from somebody else's hard work. Your grandchildren, his grandchildren, the children you spread your legs and had, are not entitled to somebody else's hard work. Those children are entitled to the money you work for because you made them. It's your responsibility. So I don't know. I saw some of the comments and people going after like, well, she's your child. It don't matter. You can't. No, I was raised differently, honey. I am Nigerian. And Nigerian parents don't give their kids money or allowances. Hell, they will sit there and read your rights. I provide the food. I provide the roof over your head. You're getting, you're protected in this house. Your school fees are paid for. That car that you drive, the gas I pay for, you don't need allowance. Shit, I grew up not getting money from my parents. So I knew when I left the house and had to work, I got to find how to get money because they will pinch. Nigerian parents will pinch money. They don't give you nothing. They will make you clean every single part of the house, wash the car. I was tiling the floor, picking weeds outside, mowing our lawn and the neighbor's lawn. And most parents in this country, in American culture, will come into the house and their parents will give them money for doing the dishes. My parents expected me to do the dishes. Let me see your ass not do those dishes, and I'm not giving you nothing. Okay? I had to iron 3 clothes for $0.25. Okay, so I'm not dealing this pity me thing that people tend to do. You fell on hard times, humble yourself, but the fact that this man had already been helping you before you fell on hard times makes me think that he's probably looking at you as if you are not trying hard enough in life to get yourself in a financially stable position. You're working a minimum wage job, $15 an hour ain't gonna pay for nothing. These days, the cost of things, you can't survive a minimum wage. And Dr. Dre came from the hood. He was poor as hell, poor, when the minimum wage wasn't even $15. And he busted his ass and got himself to where he wanted to be. Whether he was beating on his wife allegedly or so, he got himself some money, got himself where he's supposed to be, did that. You need to also do what you're supposed to do. And if the kids are suffering and you need money, you need to go and attack those fathers of the kids you made babies with. They're responsible for paying for those kids, not their grandfather. The grandfather is responsible for buying them Christmas gifts, spoiling them, maybe creating a trust fund for them that they could use once they get older. That's what he can do. But to support you on a monthly basis, it's not his obligation. And you going to the blogs and running your mouth and trying to get pity and stuff like that, it's almost like you're trying to bully him into coming to your aid. That's not how you go about it. It's not. It sounds like you want him to give you something and he doesn't have to, is what I'm saying. So that's my take on it. Sorry if I hurt your feelings, boo, but I have a different mindset in life. I do whatever is necessary for me to protect myself and survive. I don't care if I have to claw my way from the bottom. I will always find my way. That is how I think. And that was how as adults, I feel like you should think. I'm pregnant now, and this is the same values I'm instilling in my baby boy or baby girl. Don't expect shit from me when you become an adult. I have given you all the tools in this world to survive and put yourself in a position where you don't have to suffer. I understand that you're going to fall into hard times, and I will be there for you as much as I can. But if I feel like you're relying on me to do everything and you out there, hell no. You're going to find out how hard life can be on your own, period. Now, let's get my commentary next is for the baby, because I know that all this shit been happening to the baby. I know that people say you're dragging it, it's dragging, but I feel like it's time for me to comment because I wanted to wait till everything played out first before I said something, just to see how everything was gonna go. So if you guys don't remember, the baby had he had a few homophobic remarks, but those weren't homophobic remarks, weren't the only remarks he said. He had some sexist remarks that he made. He had some ignorant remarks that he made. And the top of all that, aside from those comments, but it seems like those specific ones that were that they felt targeted the LGBTQ community were the ones that the world focused on. But let me tell you what he said. So it says, the baby has come under fire for homophobic remarks he made while on stage at the Rolling Loud Miami Music Festival over the weekend. The Charlotte, North Carolina performer, whose given name is Jonathan Lindell-Kirk, is facing criticism for making disparaging comments about gay people and people living with HIV/AIDS. Now, they have video footage of the 29-year-old rapper saying that dumbass shit. And then it says, one of the things he said in the video was, if you didn't show up today with HIV/AIDS, any of them deadly sexually transmitted diseases that'll make you die in 2 or 3 weeks, put your cell phone light in the air. First of all, even when in the 70s, when we had the whole plague that was AIDS, because they didn't know what it was, they didn't know how to treat it, they didn't know how it spread, they didn't know what the cause of it was. People weren't dying in 2 to 3 weeks, bruh. It took time. It took time for your body to deteriorate. I'm gonna get to that one. But then it says, ladies, if your pussy, I want to say that, if your pee-pee, not pee-pee, the poo area, poo noun, okay? If it smell like water, put your cell phone light in the air. Fellas, if you ain't stuck a dick in the parking lot, put your cell phone lights in the air. Keep it Does it matter? Was you jealous that it wasn't yours that was being sucked? I'm confused why that comment was even necessary. Did you see something in the parking lot and you wanted to join it? I'm confused why you even had to say that shit. I don't understand what it has to do with your music. Now we have another one. It said, among these criticizing the baby include RuPaul Drag Race, who had Trinity K. Bonet, and who said something like undetectable equals untransmittable. You is equal to you. That will educate you on at least one of them dumbass comments you made. Then we had Funky Dineva, of course, hop on this. We had several other commentators hop on this. We also had Somebody named Hassan Piker said DaBaby's throwing out 90s era homophobia, DaBoomer. And then it says, following receiving widespread criticism for his comments, DaBaby doubled down in his Instagram story. So after he said all that shit and people were commenting, he now doubled down looking stupid, telling his critics to shut the fuck up, the rapper said. What I do at a live show is for the audience at the live show. He said, I'll never translate correctly to somebody looking at a little 5-6 second clip from their goddamn crib on their phone. It just don't work like that. Then it says, because regardless of what your mother ass are talking about and how the internet twisted up my motherfucking words, me and all my fans at the show, the gay ones and straight ones, we turn the fuck up. Then it said, the rapper said that there were gay fans present who were enjoying the show, adding, I'm talking about my boy that was at the front stage left where I jumped asked him. He got clips all in his shit the whole night he was recording. We were turned the whole night up. Then he said, my boy had the crop talk on front row. He was out there in that jungle, in that water. He was out there. He's standing on the rail, goddamn cutting up. He knows the words to the song. I'm rapping them with him. He then went on to repeat the comments he made at his show. I wasn't going on no rant. He said, that's called a call to action. That's what that's called, because I'm a live performer. I'm the best live performer. I'm the live show killer. You interact with your fans, you get what I'm saying. All the lights went up, gay or straight. You want to know why? Because even my gay fans don't got AIDS. They don't got AIDS. My gay fans, that they take care of themselves, they ain't going for that. They ain't no nasty gay. They ain't no junkies on the street. I said, if you ain't stuck in the parking lot, put your cell phone light up. You know what my gay fans did? Put that motherfucking light up. My gay fans, they ain't going for that. They got class. They ain't stuck in no parking lot. You got to get a room, a good 1-5-star hotel. Even my gay fans got standards. So basically, if you're in the parking lot getting head or giving head and you happen to be gay, you don't have standards? What if a person was straight doing that? They don't have standards either? What if the person would... I don't understand why you said that. Your personal, whatever you do for your own personal time, you don't have to project that shit on somebody else. Maybe they were having fun. Maybe they were role playing. Maybe they just want to do something spontaneous. Maybe they just want to do something dangerous. I don't understand. Weren't we all making out and shit in the car in high school? Like, wasn't that the days when we were like, oh my gosh, this is so cool? Like, I don't understand. It doesn't sound like you're concerned about where they were doing it. I think you were concerned about what exactly it was that they were doing in that era, which was essentially none of your business in the first place. Then another article has something saying he's facing widespread criticism from celebrities and activists for comments he made about people living with HIV/AIDS. And they said that Dua Lipa's, I don't know what this says. Okay. DaBaby, known for his hit song Rockstar and for being featured in Dua Lipa's Levitating, asked fans Sunday night at the Rolling Loud music festivals in Miami to shine their cell phone lights if all the stuff I just read. Then he says the rapper addressed his remarks Monday on Instagram Live, claiming everybody enjoyed the show and whatnot. But then Dua Lipa addressed the remarks in the Instagram story, telling her fans that she was horrified by DaBaby's comments and she doesn't recognize the person she worked with because she don't want to be associated with him. Then he says, I know my fans know where my heart lies, and I stand 100% with the LGBTQ community. She wrote, we need to come together to fight the stigma and ignorance around HIV/AIDS. Then Elton John jumps in and has his own 2 cents about it, trying to educate DaBaby about his comments and stuff like that. They all ignored the if your pussy smell like water comment. They ignored that portion. They ignored the sucking dick in the car portion. They just focused on the HIV/AIDS remark. Then it said Demi Lovato now put on there saying HIV/AIDS is not a gay disease. She put a picture on there, which is facts. Then it says Candace Dillard also went in there and put her little 2 cents in. Then now we see like a trend with him losing every damn thing. He lost basically all the shows that he was supposed to perform in. And then there were celebrities like T.I. who came in support of him, saying that Lil Nas can kiss his shit in peace, so should DaBaby. Equality, which was... it was irrelevant. That make no sense. Then we had Lil Boozy jump in and make comments that he always does. Lil Boozy always jumps in. As funny as he is, he does say some shit that's ignorant sometimes. And it is what it is. Now, here's my take on that whole situation with DaBaby, okay? My take is this. I remember watching documentaries about that time period in the 70s when it was a whole HIV/AIDS plague. And I remember watching documentaries of people, and in the beginning of the documentaries, you will see people who were commenting on it, telling us what they were going through, how hospitals wouldn't even come, they wouldn't even go into the room. Doctors wouldn't, maintenance people wouldn't want to go to the room and clean it. They didn't want to go in and feed them because they had the stigma that even if you breathe the air, you were going to get it. Even if you touch somebody who had it, you were going to get it. And then there was also this ignorant diatribe that was running around saying that the only people that it affected were people from the homosexual community, and that it was, and the religious communities were going out there saying that they could pray away the gay and they can make you better, and that if you were gay, this is what you were going to get, that this is the result, and that is God punishing you for being gay. There were so many ignorant, stupid things that came out during that time that resulted in thousands of people who had that virus unnecessarily dying because they weren't being taken care of the way that you're supposed to just take care of people generally because of their being humans in the first place. There was a lot of that going on. So for me, when I heard that comment and him saying it, it's a lack of education. You're completely ignorant in the way that you were designed. Now I understand that, you know, you're doing a show and stuff like that, but you can now go. First of all, what if somebody at your show, that was the last thing that the person wanted to see, that she came in there to watch your rap show. She's like, DABABBY's one of my favorite rappers. I want to go watch him because I'm dying of this illness. And I just want to make sure that I watch his show before I die. And she gets there and she's not gay. She's straight. She's heterosexual. She just had she got it from needles. She may have had sex with a heterosexual man and got it because they just weren't being tested. She may have got it from a bad blood transfusion, who knows? But she's sitting up there, and she may have been born with it, but she's sitting there, and she's trying, and it's her last days because some people's bodies are able to fight it for a period of time, and some are not. We just never know. Every person's body operates differently when it comes to dealing with viruses. Just like some people have died from COVID and some people have not. So she's sitting there and she's saying, hey, I just want to watch the show. It's the last time I get to watch the show. This is the last thing I want to see. And you said that shit on your show. How do you think that person will feel? This is the thing about rappers, and this is the thing of what I don't agree with. I agree that DABABBY needs to feel. He needs to feel it in his pockets. That you just can't go and spread misinformation and try and push people back to the 70s and push people back all the way back there, because we've made some progress since then, right? Now here's where I have an issue with the whole dynamic of the cancel culture thing, because now everybody's canceling him and everything like that and telling him cancel him, cancel him, cancel him. We had a president whose name rhymes with rump, who had a lot of sexist, homophobic, because I saw the video, homophobic, racist remarks that he made during the campaign and while he was in office. I'm not going to say his name. And if you look around and you look up the articles and you see there was a great deal of things that he said, and he was put as the most powerful person in this country. He had that position, and they had several impeachment situation and he got away scot-free. We have had rappers over the years target black women in their songs, minimizing us, either telling us that we're too dark, telling us light skin is the right skin, calling us nappy-headed hoes, that we don't have good hair, saying that black women are too ghetto. You always have those movies that will, if they show a black person, they'll have her call her Shaniqua, kind of like the Karen of today. They'll call her Shaniqua, Shanae, Shabubu, Sharkeisha. I mean, they had all of that stereotypical racist type personas. And they had rappers who stood up there and perpetuated that. And they got funding from every which way. All these celebrities, they were funding them, saying how great their music are, how they're innovative, and how they're progressive. And if you don't know, a majority of people who listen to rap music are not African Americans, because we're only about 13% of the population. The majority of people who listen to rap music don't look like us. So when they were out there perpetuating all these ignorant statements that were affecting black women as a whole in our community, because there was a time when I'll be growing up and people would tell me, well, I think you're pretty for a dark-skinned girl. I'm not usually attracted to a dark-skinned girl, but wow. And that was because of what they were listening to on rap. There were rappers who thought it was cool to be saying that type of shit, and who were glorifying gang violence, who were glorifying, there were guns, then you had chains, then you had smoke. I mean, there were just all these thug life type thing. You had all the little, hell, even Tekashi, excuse my French, one of the song Gunmo, if y'all saw the video, there were just a bunch of gang members just throwing up in there in that thing. And that was something that we went viral. I didn't see any of these cancel culture people get on here and say, these are behaviors, these are words that are hurting the communities, these are words in general. Why is it that this one comment that this ignorant person clearly makes, another ignorant rapper, like many other ignorant rappers that have rap, said, and y'all are canceling him? I feel like at this point, if you're going to cancel people for making homophobic comments, you need to cancel people for making racist comments, sexist comments, comments against a particular group of people that are marginalizing them. It needs to be fair across the board. Some of you celebrities that went up there and had so much to say about what DABABBY ignorantly said and needs to be educated on have not said shit when Breonna Taylor situation happened, when George Floyd shit happened. I mean, nobody was saying, some of y'all were silent when all that shit was going on. Where was your cancel culture then? That is the part that hurts my feelings. I feel like DABABBY needs to get canceled because of how he behaved, but there are other things that have occurred that also require canceling from other rappers, and you have not said anything. Okay? Now, I understand that he probably, you know, I don't look at any, honestly, there are rappers these days, besides Kendrick Lamar, who actually has something intelligible, and Tupac had a lot of knowledge to give in his music. Biggie also had knowledge to give. I don't see those type of rappers in today's generation. Most rappers these days, they all sound the same to me. I'm sorry. The things that they say, I'm not a big rap fan because I've heard from childhood the things that they would say. And I was a dark-skinned black woman, and I heard the things they would say about my hair being too nappy, about my lips being too big, and I need to have ass. And I think some of them were like, if you don't give me top, then you don't get this. I mean, there was so much shit that I heard as a kid from rappers that just made me feel some type of way. And I just didn't like rap. I just stopped listening to it in general. It didn't feed my spirit. It wasn't something that spoke to me. I was just like, what are you talking about? Like, do you hear what you're saying in your lyrics? You're also talking about lean. I mean, it was crazy. The type of shit, drugs, alcohol, sex, gang, it was too much. So for me, I didn't particularly like rap. But a lot of these industries that didn't look like this were supporting them. They were paying for them. They were funding them. They were spreading the word. Oh, these people are loving this. Well, DABABBY now is running her mouth just like every other stupid rapper has run their mouth and said something that's incredibly ignorant. Is it different from the past of what everybody else has done? If you're going to cancel him for this one, cancel other people for everything else. What he said hurts a particular community, and what some of the rappers I've heard said have hurt my community and other people's community for years. Why is it this one that gets him canceled? And I heard that apparently DABABBY had allegedly supposedly slapped some girl or something on the show. And did nobody cancel him for that one either? I'm like, damn, it's just, for me, I had to look at it from two sides. I had to look at it from the side of, this is wrong. You don't go and spread this type of misinformation that caused a lot of people to just die unnecessarily, or caused a lot of people to have this stigma that if you're gay, then that means that you have it's the stupidest shit I've ever heard. And listen to me very carefully, okay? I have been told that I must have AIDS because somebody told me, oh, you're from Africa, so all Africans have AIDS. I've heard it being said to me. It was the same ignorance. And it hurt my feelings too, shit, because I'm from the motherland. That means because there's the same stigma. I think some people told me, there was a time people told me, well, Africans sleep with monkeys, so, you know, monkeys got HIV, so that's probably how they got AIDS too, so they spread it. AIDS comes from Africa. So they all got it over there. I've heard all that. And I've heard people say shit like that on national television, or in the news, or on the radio. I've heard, what's her name? I forgot her name. The heifer that was supposed to be, I think she was trying to run for office or something. I don't know what her purpose was. Maybe she was trying to run for governor or some shit. But she stood up there and said, in the continent of Nigeria, in the country of Africa, she flipped it. I said, huh, bitch? All that ignorant. And her face was still showed up on the show. There was nobody meant to correct him. But this situation that DABABBY did has now reached CNN, NBC, all these newscaster, everything. And so for me, I think there's a double standard. Okay, punish him for what he did because it does need to be punished, but keep that same energy for everything else. Don't just focus on aiding one particular community. Now, all you guys who have something to say, speak up when it's happening to other people as well. That's how I feel. Now, for the Tasha K interview that she did, responding to Sam in Egypt, child. It's supposed to be responding to Sam in Egypt. Actually, Sam's response that I showed you guys in the beginning of this video. Tasha K made a video exposing Sam, saying that Sam had allegedly cheated on Egypt recently, I think in the month of May, with a transgender woman after he now said that he is straight. He's monogamous. The only person he's with is Egypt. And during that interview, he got caught red-handed with receipts that he had been communicating with someone else that's not Egypt in a cheating manner. So Sam now responded with the video I posted in the beginning, and also says something that there's a lawsuit out there for Tasha that she got to deal with. Now, with that said, There was a second interview that Tasha did, and now she brought 2 people to talk about it. I think the second one I need to rewatch again before I do this video, but I'm gonna take a minute to go ahead and check this out real quick to collect my thoughts, because I had a lot to say in this video with no notes, and I'm gonna get back. So hang on a second. Oh my God, baby. I had to break this interview with Tasha K up, okay? Because there was just so much. Oh my God, there was just so much information in it. Sam, anybody who watches this interview, and I implore you to go watch it, because some people had the nerve to get up on my page and tell me that what was in my interview wasn't really what I saw and wasn't really what I heard. Bitch, I got ears. I heard what I heard. So I'm thinking that some of y'all need to just go on. I'm wearing my jacket inside out. Forgive me. Some of y'all need to just go on, turn page, watch the interview, and then come and hear what I have to say. Because, Lord, after watching that interview, Sam comes off. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a therapist. I cannot medically diagnose somebody correctly, but it gives the impression of sociopathic individual manipulation. It seems kind of like more so manipulation than anything. And again, I did say in my last review that age has a lot to do with it, because it's also maturity. And also I do say that upbringing has a lot to do with how you choose to respond when you're in a relationship with somebody. If you were raised with just your mama, you didn't have a male figure, and I've said this 1,000 times, a male presence in a female's life is critical, because there is a difference in your approach when you marry somebody or when you're in a relationship with somebody, when you have had a male presence. Not that the woman is not important, don't get me wrong, but there is that you need both to influence you to be able to make healthy decisions in life. And that is a proven, scientifically diagnosed fact. If you go into health education, which I took several classes in, it is a proven fact. And from when we learned this interview, which I'm gonna get some of the juicy details, Egypt's friend, who I learned, it seems to be, I said in the beginning that I wasn't sure if she was still their friend or how long she's been friends with him, but it seems like she's been friends with him since childhood. She was Egypt's best friend. And from what I'm getting, it doesn't seem like they're friends anymore, because Sam probably interfered in that relationship. Because I said before, when I did my growing up hip hop reviews, Sam has a tendency to destroy the relationships that Egypt has when he feels like it's not working in his favor, hence the manipulation. It's like, if this person is not on my team and they don't like me, I'm gonna put bug in Egypt's ear to find a way to get rid of this person, because they're gonna fuck up what I'm trying to do here, because I'm trying to be, this is a come up. Egypt is my come up. And I'm gonna tell you why I believe some of the shit that Aisha said. If I'm saying it correctly, I'm gonna tell you why I believe it, because some of the things that she said, I've personally experienced myself. So I'm gonna tell you why I know that she's not lying. She ain't lying. So one of the things that they talked about is that Tasha had asked her, was Tretch in a constant presence in Egypt's life growing up, because that was an important question. Because Tasha said, my daddy wouldn't let me date somebody like Sam. Should I be concerned about what he would do to me? And Lord, my father would not let me, I'm not talking about Tasha, date anybody like Sam, because I'll be worried about what he'll do to him. He might come up missing, and what he'll do to me for being so stupid and put myself in that situation. That's what a father does to a woman when he's been a good influence in her life. You ain't finna make something stupid. Because I know people be looking at me when my father says hush, and I actually hush. Like, your dad says hush and you listen. I said, child, I ain't finna die. Yes, I'll hush. So, and African parents are like that. You don't disobey your father. I don't, men who have been fathers to their daughters generally have a lot of influence on them, and the girl has a lot of respect for him, that they end up listening to him if he was a great father, present father. And it seems like Tretch only came up on this as a constant presence in Egypt's life. Now that the check from growing up hip hop is coming in, he got to play the father role. But I said in my last review of growing up hip hop that when they did the little sit down, that it looks like Tretch tolerates Sam. It looks like he tolerates him. Every time that Sam gets up to speak or says something, I want us to be family. Tretch was like, hold on, one step at a time. I feel like, and I said before, that I think that Tretch is tolerating Sam because he wants Egypt to be happy. And if you as a father wasn't present in her life growing up, you don't want to mess up your relationship you're building now. So why not support her even if she's making a piss poor ass decision? That's what I'm getting out of it. So we find this out in the review from Aisha, and then we also find out a few more things. There was also some scuttlebutt, not scuttlebutt, but she actually said it, that there was a time when Egypt and Sam were in the house, and Egypt was upstairs knocked out, and Sam was fucking a transgender woman downstairs, and Egypt is upstairs. Now, I don't know how truthful that is, Shah, because I wasn't there. It's an alleged accusation. I didn't see it, and unless I saw this one, I have not, you know, then I'll be able to vouch for it. But she said that that's something that he did do while she was upstairs. She also said that when Egypt and Sam first met at the gym, Sam wasn't that interested in Egypt. He didn't express interest in her as extremely as he did when he found out that she was Peppa and Tretch's daughter. Then he decided to holler at her and put more effort into getting to know her because he thought this was going to be a come up for him. And Tasha asked him, well, was he broke when he first met her? She said he was so broke that they had to buy him his car, and that Egypt had a white Mercedes from her mama, and that Sam was driving that Mercedes around neighborhood telling everybody and everybody that would listen that that was his car, and that he was lying to people that that was his car and it wasn't his car. Then this is the part that I said was factual, because Egypt wanted to travel with Sam, and Sam couldn't travel because his child support was off the roof, off the chart, and he didn't have enough money to pay for his child support, and he didn't have enough money to take care of his children. Why do I believe it's true? I believe it because my husband went through it. My husband, I've said it in previous reviews, he was incarcerated, came out, had to start his life from the very beginning, and now he's an electrical engineer, about to get his master's in communication processing because my baby's just that bomb. But, okay, when he came out of prison, your child support doesn't just go away. You have built-in taxes and fees while you're incarcerated, so you got to pay that balance when you come out. But people that have gone to prison, when they come out, the system doesn't really give them an opportunity to rebuild. You know, jobs don't want to hire felons. Jobs don't want to hire somebody with a background like that. So they have to figure out how to pay their bills without having any access to real money, which is why a lot of felons end up reoffending, because they're like, shit, if I'm not going to get money the right way, then I'm gonna go get it the wrong way, because y'all don't want to help us hire us because of our past mistake. It's like we had to live like that for the rest of our life. So my husband came out and he had a hefty amount of child support debt, and not only were they garnishing his wages, but there was, if he had any money in his bank account and he faulted, they would clean that motherfucker out and send him a letter saying, we cleaned out your bank account because we put it through child support. Not only that, if he stopped paying for a few months or so, they literally suspended his license if he didn't pay for it. I mean, not just that, and then when it came to the travel aspect of it, because we had tried to apply just to see if he can get a passport because we were considering traveling later on, he had a balance that he needed to pay for. He was paying it, but he owed more. He just hadn't caught up yet. And if it got to a certain amount, I forgot what the amount is, they do put a hold on your passport. Passport agencies will not issue a passport to you if your child support amount of money is owed. So you can't even leave the damn country if your ass try to flee. So he had to take care of that balance first before we were able to even get him a passport in the first place. So when Aisha said this shit, this is legit. I was like, bitch, I know you telling the truth. That is not a lie, because I know it's factual. So Sam couldn't travel because his child support was behind, and Egypt ended up paying for it, covering whatever balance he owed, according to what she said, to help him be able to travel. But not only that, it was a matter of months when he moved in with her. He was supposed to be homeless. He packed him. He basically infiltrated her life. And when everybody like TT was telling her, Egypt, slow down. This is too soon. You need to get to know this person. He has child support that he can't pay for. He ain't got no money. He doesn't have a car. His old father said that this boy is a piece of shit. I wouldn't even have anything to do with him if it was my daughter. And on top of that, he has children that he can't support himself, and you the one paying his child support, buying the baby's food, buying him clothes, doing everything. And then the third. And then when Tasha said, what was the reason, or why do you think that this is it? Is it because his sex expertise is on par? And Aisha said, yep, that's what I heard, that he knows the right buttons to push on a woman's body every which way to make her sing, okay, the first Noel in acapella. He knows what to do to get that girl off, all the way off, especially as young as she is, probably not as experienced sexually, and he rocked her world to where her head was spinning left and right. So that dickmatization got her paying all his bills and then some, and even watching him lie to people saying that Mercedes was his. So this tea was beyond juicy. Now, Tasha said don't fuck with her, because during the first interview, he said that he was going to sue her because she attacked his character. No, man. Tasha said that she wanted to interview Egypt by herself. You hopped yourself up on that interview, inserted yourself, and then got mad when you were exposed. Why did you get on the interview and then get mad and want to sue? She said she didn't want your ass because she knew that you would manipulate her or try to take over the conversation and make it about yourself. Just like JoJo said on the Growing Up Hip Hop when he said that I just wanted Egypt to perform without you because you always trying to make yourself the center of conversation and dim her shine. So we just want to see Egypt and Egypt alone. We don't want to see your ass. And then gradually, before this situation happened in the previous season, y'all remember that there was a time when Egypt was walking around telling people that she can't go anywhere if Sam was not invited, because Sam had already manipulated her into thinking that we're a team. So if your friends really care for you and they want you to go somewhere, they should want me to be there too. So if they say that they don't want me there, you should support your man and not go. So basically making Egypt, manipulating her into forcing people to tolerate him too. I said that in my review. He created this damn shit. Now he wants to cry and act like the victim and said that she said something about him. She said something about Egypt crying, saying that she wanted to maintain her friendship with her because they've been friends for a long time. And Aisha was able to see through Sam's behavior and his bullshit. And of course, that's a threat to Sam. So Sam trying to interfere in their friendship, but Egypt started crying because she's like, I don't want to lose my best friend. So Sam had called her, but he played the sympathy card. He said that he had multiple personalities and he had this, and this. He wanted somebody to feel sorry for him. And she made a point to tell us that that's the same type of conversations that Sam has with Pep. That when he has conversations with Pep, he tries to seek sympathy from her, manipulating her. So he tells her all the bad things that happens in his life, all the things he went through, all his aspirations and what he wants to do with his life and how he wants to build his life and da-da-da-da-da. And of course, Pep is not cruel. She may be ditzy. She may be immature. She may be a poor excuse for a mother sometimes. But she has a heart. And she can love her daughter. So she's trying to see the good in Sam. Because Sam spends time trying to talk about how basically you should feel sorry for him. And so you want to help him from pity. That's what that is. You want to help this ass from pity. TT sees this shit. Everybody sees this shit. Sam, I'm starting to see you in a different way. Not necessarily that I don't think you don't love Egypt. I know that Sam loves Egypt. I can tell he loves her now. But I also feel like he's manipulating her in a certain way. And I feel like if he would have just allowed things to flow naturally, not pushed himself on her family, not pushed himself on people, not put bugs in her ear to force certain people out of her life, I guarantee you Aisha's no longer her friends because of Sam. I guarantee you TT and Egypt will forever have enmity between each other or have problems between each other because of Sam's behavior. I guarantee you that Peppa is going to now start having issues with TT's mom because she's trying to protect Sam because she feels sorry for him and thinks he needs help, or she's trying to play Captain Save a Sam. And I guarantee you the moment that Egypt says that she don't want to be with Sam, Tresh probably going to fuck him up. From what I saw in this interview, it was very sad. I don't know if I should feel sorry for Egypt because she has parents who could teach her better and are not really there to really steer her the right way. And Sam knows who to manipulate. You notice he didn't take his ass to Tresh's house. He took his ass to Pep's house. Okay, and she was willing to listen because she's female. And I know manipulation because I was recently in Nigeria. And if y'all know about corruption in Nigeria, it's off the chain. So I had an American passport. And as soon as they saw an American passport, they now pass it along. And somehow on the intercom, they called my name and said that I need to come and identify my bags. As I was walking to it, something in my spirit said, go get your husband. So I went and I got my husband. And I said, let's go see what they want. They want me to identify my bags. My bag has a name tag on it. You know exactly whose bag it is. We get there. I stand outside. My husband goes in. They ran my bag through the metal detector or whatever detector. And there was nothing in it but clothes. He didn't even beep. Then, of course, they sat there. Oh, hi, sir. How you doing? You know, you look great. Da, 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 da. And so after they try to, like, give him compliments, he was like, are we done? Because it's hot as hell. I want to go. They're like, where's your wife? Oh, where's your beautiful wife? He points to me. I'm standing outside pissed off because I'm sweating. They call me in. And, of course, after they try giving me compliments because there were nothing in my bag, they want to say something like, do you have anything for us, like money or stuff you brought? I said, I don't have shit for you. They called me because they have a way of believing that females have more of a compassionate heart, and so we're more willing to do stuff for people even if they're undeserving because they tugged at our heartstrings. My husband looked at him in the face and was like, while they were trying to ask me for money, he was like, we're done here, right? And they got it like, I'm not giving you shit. I brought him because I knew that they couldn't try the same bullshit with him. That if he wasn't there, they would have kept me there. Sam went over to Egypt's mom's house, Pep, and he gives her this personal conversations they have. They're so close because he wants pity. And he gets it. So, I mean, hell, play the game if it works out for you. But this interview was it was heart-wrenching to watch. It was a lot juicier than I thought it was gonna be. But now, the second part of the interview now brings in, we had Egypt's friend. We now have Sam's friend coming in, or former friend coming in to speak, child. Let me watch it real quick and I'll be back to tell you what I think about it, okay? So hang in there, because this one's gonna be a long-ass review. So the final part, I'm back. Y'all know I took a pause for the cause after watching the first part of Tasha K interviewing Egypt's friend. Now I watched her interviewing Sam's former friend by the name of Chris, who is a rapper, singer. He is a 40-year-old man. His oldest son is 18 years old. His ass is too cute to be looking 40. Sorry, baby, he's not as cute as you, but he is 40 years old. And he explains to us how he came about to meet Sam. Says Sam basically hooked up with him or contacted him, wanted to do a song with him. They did a song together. The song came out great. And so he was cool. Sam was living with another dude, roommating with him. At the time, he said they weren't roommates, but he ended up selling his house. Sam invited him, why don't you come down and stuff like that. So he ended up selling his house, came down to wherever the hell that they were at. And there was a time at some point where everything was cool. They were all getting along. He seemed chill. But then Peppa moved her ass into the place that Sam was renting with Egypt, because her place was being kind of, I guess, either it was being renovated, but something was being done to her house. So she had to move in with them. Peppa didn't have money to go to a hotel. I don't know what the issue was, but she moved in with them to now until her house was basically, whatever they were doing, her house was done. But as soon as Peppa landed her ass into that house, Sam decided to change his old behavior like I told you he did in growing up hip hop, where he likes to puff up his chest and act like his heart with his dumb ass. But he tried to do that with other men, other people in the house, so it became an issue. You're not about to treat me like I'm beneath your ass, but I'm older than you. This dude is 40. Sam is barely 20-something years old, 28, whatever the case is. You ain't finna puff up your chest to me. First of all, fuck your ass up. So he's sitting up there like, you need to calm that down. But he said that when that happened, he started to see different sides of Sam. He also said that there were some arguments that happened in the house, that where he would hear Egypt wanting to go out and have fun with her friends, and Sam will allegedly tell her that if she left him, he was gonna kill himself, doing the whole manipulation, sympathy card, feel sorry for me, mind fuck. And previously in the interview with Egypt's former friend or friend, that she said that Egypt had confessed allegedly to saying that she would be too scared to leave Sam because she's scared, she probably scared of what he might do to himself because she feels sorry for him. And in addition to that, she said that Tasha asked him about the alleged situation where he was, I guess, fucking a transgender girl downstairs while Egypt was upstairs sleeping. He said, I can't vouch for that. I wasn't there. I don't know what's going on. He did say that Sam did confirm to him that he is attracted to men and transgenders, or he's attracted to transgender women. And he didn't judge him for that, which is the right thing to do. But it was more so his mannerisms. Because he said that one of the things he said was that when they used to have house parties and shit. And when they were having house parties, that they were having house parties, that he would get so drunk and he would get mad, and then he would be beating up the dogs in the house. Like, he threw one of the dogs down the stairs, and one of the dogs broke their leg, and he had to basically create a tourniquet with a cardboard to help this damn dog. And Sam would be walking around bragging that he was fucking up some dogs. You feel bad because you're beating up some dogs? Like, I don't understand this guy. I mean, the more I hear it, I'm like, people can't just make this shit up. But the part that got to me was the part where he was at a party, right? Because Tasha's ass is so messy. Because Tasha wants to make sure we understood that whatever Sam is doing with Egypt, it ain't a real relationship. He's just using her. But he said that this dude, Chris, said that they were at a party one day. Sam got drunk. And Sam said, Egypt, go get the strap on so you can fuck me with it tonight, in front of all the dudes. I said, you know what? My husband is straight. He's heterosexual. Let me ask him, baby. No. Can I? No. Baby.
No. I told you my answer.
No, God. Let's try something new. He just left me and went upstairs. He wouldn't even let me talk to him about. I can't, but it's just, I don't know why I'm laughing. I know that people get freaky in the bedroom, and it's cool. I mean, men have their prostate tickles and stuff like that. So if that's what they like. It's just the whole thing with Sam. it's just a clusterfuck of shit. I don't even know how to stop laughing about it. It was like, boom, you think this one information is a lot, then you got another bow, it hits your ear, and you're like, well, what else is there? And bow, bow. And I'm just like, how much? I don't understand how all this can be surrounded in one person. And Egypt is still with him, and people are still talking about, I don't understand Egypt. Damn. I don't even know what to say. The dude Chris also says some things like how Sam introduced himself the first time they met as, I'm the son-in-law to Pep and Tretch. They're not even married, but he's already telling people that because he feels like that's going to get him the plug. So he's using specific choice of words. And him not letting Egypt go out and have fun is because he was afraid that somebody might take his girl, you know, because that's his way in. So he's not trying to lose his meal ticket. And on top of that, they talked about how he would go to the store. He was always broke, but he would take Egypt's bank card and be swiping that motherfucker like it was his money, buying all the shit that he wanted to buy, because she's basically coming off like she a sugar mama too. But she's too young to be a sugar mama and too pretty. But damn, like, it's just one issue after another. And I'm like sitting up here, I don't know what type of alleged lawsuit that he thought he was doing against Tasha K, but she telling all the tea, because she said that she also wants to get the other roommate interviewed to hear what he had to say if their stories match what Chris is saying. Because Chris is saying that everything that we see on Growing Up Hip Hop, everything that TT and everybody's saying about Sam is absolute facts. That tea that Brianna was going to bring to let Egypt know that she found out was absolute facts. And also, he said something like, when Sam got on that OnlyFans page, Sam was talking to him about, hey, yo, while I wear a thong, why don't you come and post some oil on me on my page? I'm not knocking any man who loves another man, or any man who likes transgender women, or any man who's just fluid. I'm not knocking it. The problem is Sam keeps putting his foot in his mouth. It's like he'll say something and do something entirely opposite. Because what you're saying to us and your actions ain't matching up. Then Chris said something like, in 4 months in, Sam was like trying to goad him into hollering at his baby mama, having sex with her and stuff like that. Finally, he said he was going through something with his baby, with his female. He actually ended up fucking the baby mama, and Sam immediately called his baby mama and was asking her questions like, is this dick bigger than mine? I'm like, why would my husband would never do some shit like that. Why my husband would never call some girl asking her about some other dude's penis size. That is some shit. I was like watching the interview and I just couldn't stop laughing. It was just so much tea. Like, I felt like I had to pray after watching all that, because I was just like, how much more can somebody take? It's just so much information in this nice interview. It's just so juicy. I was laughing so hard, my husband had to come downstairs and check on me. Like, damn. So on top of that happening, in addition to him allegedly abusing the dogs and shit like that, I don't know why Egypt's ass want to buy him a $7,000 cat, damn bitch. Those cats may not survive in his presence if he really did do what he did to them damn dogs and was bragging about it. And then Chris also said that, because Tasha asked him, did you guys ever get into a physical altercation at any point? Chris is like, no, I'm gonna fuck him up. But he was trying to have his dad come fight him. He's like, I'm 40 years old. Like, what the hell? I was just like, you're 40? Number one, you don't look 40. And number two, why is Sam calling his daddy to come fight his battles for him? I thought he was growing up big and bad. Then on top of that, Tasha asked him, did you ever witness any physical abuse on Sam's part towards Egypt? He said no, because if he did that shit, he would go missing. Because you know Tretch ain't fucking with that. And there are several people on Egypt's team that would never tolerate her being physically abused. That's just facts. Period. I know Tyran wouldn't take it. I know JoJo wouldn't take it. I know a lot of people that would have Egypt's back if some man were stupid enough to put their hands on her. So he knows better. So he used manipulation and mind fucking to get her to do whatever he wants her to do, instead of actually beating her ass. And then I'm just like, how? It's just one. I don't know what to say after watching this interview, but I have to look at it from a rational standpoint. Not everything that each of these individuals may say or, you know, may all be true or factual, but it's becoming a pattern of several people who've interacted with you and have similar stories about the way that you behave and your dual personality. So when people show you who they are, you have to believe them, because there's only so much you can keep doing to different people who are saying the exact same things about you. So there's got to be some truth to that shit. You understand what I'm saying? So it was just like, I just couldn't, as I was watching it. If y'all want to go watch out the interview, you can, but it was a lot. It was a lot. And I think at some point it wasn't a transgender woman that was explained. It seemed like there was a dude that actually came to the house, and Sam wanted to fuck the dude too, you know. So he's just, it seems like he's not just attracted to transgender women, he likes men. He did say himself that he doesn't have any labels for himself, which is a good way to describe himself, since he is fluid and he does like different types of people, you know. But the problem is the way that he was moving in that house. And I think that was the big issue. Because if you portray yourself as being this type of person, but you're doing this other thing, it doesn't really speak for your validity or the things that you know, it doesn't make you look like an up and up type person, you know. And for you to be big and bad when Pep sets foot in the house in Egypt because you wanted to look like you were the hot shit in town, that means you're fake. Okay? And for you to be sitting up here manipulating this girl, make her think that you hurt yourself or do something to yourself if she leaves you, is a form of abuse. That's what that is. It's psychological warfare. And I feel bad because I feel like the relationship, the way it goes, if this is really what happens, by the time Egypt realizes what's happening to her, she would be damaged mentally, and she might have a hard time trusting men or being able to actually believe a right man when he comes to her face, because this one didn't fuck with her so much she wouldn't even know what the hell to do. And Sam's little stupid ass live in the beginning, boy, hush. The best thing you can do at this point is shut up. I can't wait. I hope Tasha gets the other roommate to come and talk, because I want to compare stories from that roommate's recollection to what Chris says, to what Egypt's friend says, to see if it sounds very similar to what we're hearing from other people from growing up hip hop. But this interview was a lot. It was a lot. I was reading the comments too. Shit, people were laughing just like me. I was having a ball. I was like, damn, this is long as hell, but it was so juicy and entertaining. I couldn't stop it. So, like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. If you want to go watch the other review that I had about Sam and the first one and what I talked about, go for it so you can actually hear my take on it from that one. But you guys going to have yourself a good day, because I woke up and this is the first thing I decided to do for y'all.